Tonight on Best Bits, Josh Hokett exposed Denzel Freeman. Autism is the best base for MMA. Derek Lewis fell over. And Justin Gaethje reconstructed Paddy Pimblett's face. The first fight of the night was Ty Miller versus Alan Fugia. Ty Miller gets done in the first round by a TKO. Bit of an early stoppage, bit of a strange stoppage. A few weird stoppages. Actually, I don't really have too much of a problem with them. Ty Miller gets it done. This is what we said in the predictions. Alan Fugia is kind of like a springboard, a bit of a layup for Ty Miller. He wanted the finish on the Contender Series, didn't get it, manages to get one in his debut. I feel like they gave him Alan Fugia because they knew it was going to happen. But yeah, as predicted, Ty Miller by a TKO in the first round. I mean, pretty decent performance for him. I mean, that's what he was supposed to do. You know, make a good showing for himself, make a good case for himself, and he has done, entering the UFC over Alan Fugia. Fugia. I mean, that's his job. Alan Fugia's job is just to kind of get chinned by prospects and occasionally win an upset. So yeah, the next fight was Josh Hokett versus Denzel Freeman. Man, I have to listen to Daniel Cormier absolutely glaze and just scrote deep on the dongus of Denzel Freeman and his grappling pedigree. And then the fight starts, and immediately he's getting ragdolled by Josh Hokett, beaten down by Josh Hokett. He's bringing back the ground and pound. Josh Hokett's bringing back the ground and pound. Absolutely abused Denzel Freeman. From the first 30 seconds, it seemed like Denzel Freeman was like, "Yep, I'm just gonna keep running, and I'm just gonna try and survive." Yeah, I mean, Josh Hokett absolutely puts a beating on him. Gets on the mic for his post fight speech. Fun little fact for you: did you know that Josh Hokett's post fight speech actually took longer than the capturing of the Venezuelan president? But yeah, that's just a little fun fact for you. No, it was entertaining. We like a Chael Sonnen style promo, so that was pretty good. It was all right. It was a little bit drawn out for me, but you know, he hasn't got the same delivery. It's hard to do it while you're out of breath as well. You know, you've just dominated Denzel Freeman for 4 minutes 59 seconds. Sorry. Yeah, so you know, maybe he was out of breath, and that's what hindered his delivery. But yeah, I feel like if you're gonna do a poetry slam session at the end of your fight, you better have the gas tank to not be sucking wind while you do it. But yeah, next fight, Alex Perez versus Charles Johnson. I had said in my prediction video, Alex Perez is likely to win this one, but Charles Johnson tends to win these fights where he's kind of counted out a little bit, where he's an underdog. These are the kind of fights where, like, oh yeah, but Charles Johnson can find the chin. He can just leap forward with a loopy right hand and find your chin and put you asleep. And, you know, he's done that before in the past. Charles Johnson's, you know, pretty good at winning fights. He's not supposed to. He's pretty good at snatching an upset as an underdog. But no, not today. Alex Perez just absolutely ran through him. Just beat him up, beat him down. Charles Johnson didn't really have any answers. He was just kind of trying to survive. But a great win for Alex Perez. You know, just knuckled down and walked through whatever Charles Johnson was going to do, and just to land his own shots. And Charles Johnson was just running away. He was on the back foot from that point on, running away. 3 minutes 16 seconds. We got it on Tapology. 3 minutes 16 seconds. Alex Perez gets the TKO, and I think by the time of the fight, because of the reasoning, yeah. So you know what I said? Charles Johnson normally wins these fights where he goes in as an underdog. He actually went in as a favourite. So I'm actually talking nonsense. He went in as a favourite, but I think when I made my predictions, he was a slight underdog. I don't know. I'll have to check. Maybe it was a near evens. I don't know. But it's those kind of fights where I feel like Charles Johnson kind of pulls ahead. But nah, man, he got finished. Maybe if he'd survived the first round, he could have pulled out the decision, but I doubt it. I was kind of thinking Charles Johnson would catch Alex Perez first. So yeah, Alex Perez gets it done by a TKO in the first round. But we're not done yet, because we've got Nikita Krylov versus Modestas Bukauskas. We went with Modestas Bukauskas. Bit unfortunate, but that's okay. Boring fight, I'm going to be honest. We got a finish in the end. We got a finish in the third round. So, that's pretty good. At least we got a finish by the end of it. But really boring fight. Really boring fight. I was complaining on Twitter, on X, whatever social media, other social medias are available. But I was complaining. I was like, this is fucking boring. We've just seen absolute glorious scraps from Ty Miller. Absolutely brilliant finishes from Ty Miller, Josh Hoke, Alex Perez, and we've got to give credit to the other side and Charles Johnson, Denzel Freeman, Adam Fugia, who got finished. And Adam Fugia wasn't out when he got finished. Denzel Freeman wasn't out when he was finished when the ref stopped it. Charles Johnson wasn't out when the ref stopped it. But they were all sufficiently beaten. Nikita Krylov and Modestas Bukauskas just kind of play patty cake. Just kind of tippy-tap each other, dance around with each other for a bit. Modestas Bukauskas didn't really do much at all, to be honest with you. He was doing a lot of dancing and a lot of running away. So was Nikita Krylov. I feel like he did push the action more, and he managed to chase the finish down in the end. But yeah, very, very, very slow-paced fight. Really kind of pulled the energy out of the room after those 3 back-to-back finishes in the first round as well. So we just 3 back-to-back finishes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, back-to-back, and then we sat for 3 rounds of just kind of silly stuff. And then in round 2 and in round 3, I think it was round 2, end of round 2 or the start of round 3, was just really, really boring grappling exchanges as well. It was you can say, it was high level, but it really wasn't. If you call it, I don't think it was high level. It was just kind of not an entertaining fight. And then Nikita Krylov does manage to turn it around. Does manage to pull it back and manages to get the finish in the final seconds of the third round. So another buzzer beater, as they were calling the 2 fights, because we had Ty Miller and Josh Hoke got their finishes 4 minutes 59 seconds into the fight. So literally the fight's being stopped at the last second, and then Nikita Krylov beating his opponent in Modestas Bukauskas right before the end of the fight at 4 minutes 57 seconds. So yeah, another buzzer beater, as they were calling it. As Daniel Cormier was loving to call it. He was annoying me so much on the commentary, man. He was annoying me so much on the commentary. All that time, absolutely glazing Denzel Freeman, for Denzel Freeman to just get absolutely dominated in the grappling. It was good to see. It was hilarious. And you could see him after he was like, with his collar after. But yeah, on to the next one. Atabe Gauthier versus Andrei Puliev. Listen, I had Gauthier Atabe. I had Atabe by knockout in the first round. I really thought he'd get it done. I'm fairly sure he dropped Puliev in the first round, but didn't manage to follow that up. Dropped him again in the second. Wobbled him badly in the second as well. Yeah, kind of had Puliev on the back foot for the entire fight and was just kind of controlling it. I suppose in the third round he did slow down a little bit, but then towards the end of it he kind of picked up the pace again. So it was a bit of a back and forth fight, but no point did Atabe Gauthier did he look really out of his depth. Very one-dimensional, mind you. If it weren't for his power, I could see him getting exploited. So Puliev was having moments because Atabe just kind of does the same thing over and over again. He just kind of walks you down, just walks. He doesn't try and cut you off or anything. He just walks at you and just throws bombs, and it works for him because he's got the power and he's got the chin, and it was on display. Like he was getting caught by some good shots by Puliev, trying to counter him coming in. Puliev's got a chin as well, though. He was getting absolutely bonked everywhere, just ragdolled all over the place. By the end of the fight, for some reason, Puliev thought he'd won it. It was clear he hadn't. He got bullied in round 1, very bullied in round 2, and I suppose round 3 was the closest of the rounds because Atabe was slowing down. As I say, he's pretty one-dimensional striking-wise anyway. I don't know why Puliev didn't shoot a single takedown. I don't know why he didn't try and take Atabe down. I would have. I would have been panic shooting. I don't even wrestle. I don't even know how to wrestle. I couldn't shoot a takedown to save my life. I'd be panic shooting, getting rocked like that, especially in the second round. But yeah, Puliev a little bit delusional with his how didn't I win that? It's like, right, you got battered round 1 and 2. Even if you did kind of pulled it back a little bit in round 3. I don't think it was enough. But yeah, I mean, to be fair, he did outstrike. So I remember seeing. I'm not 100% certain, but I do think I saw. So I can check the stats on Tapology and just see what it says. But I'm fairly sure that. That Pulev actually outstruck Atiba. Can't find it right now. I'm not even going to bother with it. Who cares? You know what I mean? Prelim fight. Who gives a damn? But yeah, I'm fairly sure Pulev actually did outstrike Atiba, but it's damage-based scoring. Who is closest to finishing the fight at any given time, or who's closest to finishing the fight within that round? Who had the best moments? You know, who had the closest moments to finishing that fight? It's Atiba Gaethje. So yeah, pretty good win. I honestly surprised I didn't get the knockout in round 1 or round 2. Very close, very close. Just couldn't manage to nail down the finish. So still decent performance from Atiba Gaethje. The one guy, I mean, based on the previous fights as well with all those finishes. So like 4 back-to-back finishes, 4 finishes back-to-back to back-to-back, and then we have Atiba Gaethje versus Pulev, the fight that everyone thought was going to be a knockout. Was going to end with Gaethje knocking out Pulev in round 1. Actually went to a decision. And now we'll continue, because that was a pretty boring fight. That kind of pulled some of the energy out of the room. Nikita Krylov, pulled some of the energy out of the room. Atiba Gaethje put a bit of life back into it by bouncing Pulev all over the place, but not managing to get the finish. It was still an entertaining fight, and it was good to kind of okay. Maybe we don't have to get a finish in all of our fights. That was still a decent little scrap between these two. We didn't get a finish like we thought we were going to get, but it was still a decent little scrap. Is kind of the vibe that was getting put off. And then we have Umar Nurmagomedov versus Deiveson Figueiredo. Actually trash. I was bored. It bored me to hell. I didn't hate it. It was watchable. It was watchable. It was. And yeah, it was watchable. It wasn't terrible. Very slow paced, very back and forth, very safe from both guys. And then last round we just kind of end up on the ground. Umar just sits in full guard and just kind of burns the rest of the round out. Umar was ahead the whole fight. Really just kind of picked apart Figgy. We kind of saw that coming though. Really didn't look too much in danger at any point. Whereas Figgy just kind of seemed like after a certain point he was just trying to survive. I was thinking there was a possible submission there for Umar, but it just didn't materialise in the end. And when it came down to the ground game, like I said, he just kind of sat in Figgy's guard in round 3. But yeah, a decent back and forth fight. Like I say, it wasn't the most entertaining. I think it wouldn't have been as bad if Nikita Krylov and Modestas Bukauskas didn't stink up the place, because they stunk up the place. Then Atiba Gaethje didn't manage to get a finish, and it kind of drew the fight out a little bit, but it was still entertaining, mind you. Third round was a bit slow, but round 1 and 2 was still entertaining. Out of Pulev and Atiba. So yeah, I think just because Nikita Krylov and Modestas Bukauskas sucked all the energy out of the room, and then we didn't really have the energy put back in there, because we had it was like Atiba round 1 and 2, put some life back into it, Pulev 2, put some life back into it, and then kind of fizzled towards the third, and it was like, okay, let's see what Omar and Figgy have got. We're just going to play it really safe, we're just going to kind of try and outstrike each other on the outside and try and find openings, and it was just slow. I feel like it wouldn't have been as bad if we hadn't had the momentum killed off so efficiently by Nikita Krylov and Modestas Bukauskas, because they kind of just killed the momentum. And I know Krylov got the finish in the end, but it still doesn't mean it was still a boring fight. It was still a very boring fight. And I feel like maybe because people were saying Umar versus Figgy boring fight. It was boring, but I don't think it would have been as bad if we were still riding the high from 4 back-to-back knockouts. So I don't know. I know it seems a bit disrespectful, but maybe, I don't know, put him lower down on the card, or have the energy high when Umar goes out there, have the energy high for an Umar fight. A fantastic win for Umar. I mean, that's the style. It works. I'm not taking away from that. I'm just talking entertainment value wise. Maybe we put Umar. Maybe we just put someone before Umar who we know is going to get a finish. The next time there's a lock on the card. I mean, they did do that. They gave him fucking Atiba. Atiba was supposed to get the knockout. It was Atiba's fault. You know what it is? It's Gaethje's fault. Atiba Gaethje's fault. It's all his fault. He should have got the finish, and that would have kept the energy high enough for us not to have been bored by the technical fight between Figgy and Umar. Maybe that's what it was. It seemed like they did try. They tried to put the lock on the card right before it to keep the spirit high, to keep the energy high. So that's funny, actually. That's funny. So it's it wasn't a boring fight from Umar Nurmagomedov. It's because Atiba Gaethje couldn't get the finish. That's what like he was supposed to. But that does conclude the prelim. Oh yeah, a lot of fights dropped out, didn't he? A lot of fights dropped out by the end of it. So I waited. I normally wait a little bit longer, but I didn't have time through the week, so I waited to do my predictions, and I managed to. So I think it was the same day Kayla Harrison and Nunes, their fight got cancelled. Obviously Alexa Grasso dropped out. Michael Johnson, Anthony Hernandez, some gambling nonsense, some gambling scandals going on again, and it's the first. I'll get into this later. The first fight on Paramount. Is there a Paramount case? Probably not. I think there's brewings of it though. I think there could be. And obviously Cameron Smotherman and Ricky Turcios' fight got cancelled because Cameron Smotherman collapsed at the weigh-ins. Again, is there a Paramount case? Are we seeing signs of a Paramount case? I know it's the first one, and it was actually a decent card. It was a good card, but having 4 fights, 4 fights drop off the card, knock off the card. One because a guy collapsed at the weigh-ins publicly in front of everybody. Not a good look. While Michael Bisping's fucking, I've got no sympathy. Got no sympathy for guys who can't make weight. Oh, but yeah. Then Michael Johnson and Alexander Hernandez, a weird betting line, some weird betting odds. Very strange, very strange. Atiba Gaethje doesn't get the TKO, doesn't get a finish. Very strange. But yeah, onto the main card. Okay, onto the main card. Starting us off was a bit of a scrap, actually. It was Arnold Allen versus Gene Silva. I had said this is actually a tough one to predict. It was. I thought for sure it was going to end in a finish. I thought Arnold Allen would be able to grapple with Gene Silva if it came down to it. No way, man. Gene Silva, too strong. Way, way, way too strong. Just physically far too strong for Arnold Allen. Bit of a tongue twister there, isn't it? Have a sip of the old monster, wet the whistle. It was a good scrap. It was a good back and forth. Arnold Allen definitely not strong enough, physically not strong enough to outmuscle Gene Silva. Arnold Allen more technical in the striking, more technical, setting things up, throwing combinations together, exposing weaknesses in Gene Silva's armor, and then Gene Silva just being a tank and eating all of it and walking through 4 shots to land 2 shots that just do the same, if not more damage than Arnold Allen strikes. Really good fight, really entertaining fight. The Tism versus the Tism. We had a cool moment where Gene Silva in the I think it was in the 3rd round, like midway through the 3rd round, Gene Silva hits Allen. Allen goes down. Allen shells up on the ground to try and build up back to his feet, so he's kind of in a turtle shell, an armadillo. He killed up in the Anthony Smith armadillo. Killed up in the Anthony Smith armadillo, the armadillo, the lion heart, the paper heart, the coward heart. Killed up in the Anthony Smith armadillo technique, the forbidden Anthony Smith armadillo technique. And while he was doing that, Gene Silva decided, right, well, I need to farm some aura. I need to get a good clip from this. So he jumped on the back of Arnold Allen while he was in the armadillo position, and then jumped on his back, and then jumped off his back, and did like a little ballerina, like, I don't even know what you would call it. What is it called where they do the little weird leaps with like, what's it called? Is it a pirouette? I don't know. A little pirouette? No idea. But yeah, he did a little ballerina jump off Harold Allen's back, and that was pretty fun. And I'll probably have the picture maybe somewhere, probably not, but it might be in the thumbnail. It was probably in the thumbnail, right next to Paddy's face being absolutely mangled. Next fight, Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. Boring fight, absolutely boring. I had said on X, I honestly, boring fight, absolutely boring fight. So many feints, just feint after feint, just feinting, just stood there, just. The whole time. What are we doing, girls? What are we doing? Just feinting the whole time. Pretty close fight. Not a lot happening. I'd seen people debating who won the decision. Why do you care? It was terrible. It was a boring, stinky poo fight. But yeah, I seen people debating over who won the decision. Neither of them did anything. It could have gone to either of them, because neither of them did anything. Like, it was just standing in front of each other and feint. Maybe throw something. Oh, we're out of range still. Like, they were throwing shots out of range. They were stood out of range, feinting at each other, and then one of them would throw, and you would see quite blatantly that they just weren't in range. Multiple times throughout the fight, in every single round, from both fighters. It was just a terrible showing. I had even said on X, I said I would rather watch Umar and Figgy hug, like they did in the third round, for 15 minutes than watch this shite. Honestly, I would. Maybe we'd see something happen. But I can't understand how you can be a professional fighter. I know it's women's MMA, okay? I know we give them a hard time, but let's just be real for just 1 second. How can we stand out of range, feinting for an entire fight? How? How can we do that? How can we not realise that we're out of range while we're feinting? You know? Land the jab. Let's close the gap. You know? Throwing from so far out. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Feinting outside of range, not closing the distance, just kind of being terrified of each other. Natalia Silva gets the win by unanimous decision. I'm not complaining. I think I picked Natalia Silva anyway, by unanimous decision. I just didn't think it was going to be such a boring fight. Absolutely dreadful fight. Just a snooze fest. Next up, we've got Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis. Why would they feed Derek Lewis to Waldo Cortez Acosta like that? Why would they do that to him, you know? Why would they do that? Derek Lewis fell over and then got finished in the ground. That's the thing with these heavyweights. When you're a blob, when you're a big guy, when you're a big blob, I reckon falling over is probably your worst nightmare. Like, once you get past a certain like weight and height, I reckon falling over is like, oh god, I could end up stuck down there like a turtle. But yeah, Waldo Cortez Acosta gets it done. I thought he'd be able to get it done in the first round. I did. I guess there's just a bit more of a feeling out process than usual. Both guys obviously respecting each other's power, both knockout artists. It's a shame, really. I thought Derek Lewis would be able to kind of bait the less experienced Waldo Cortez Acosta. But I say less experienced, it's not as if Waldo's new, you know? Not like as if Waldo's never had a fight before. So, inexperience. I guess there's levels to inexperience, isn't there? Waldo Cortez Acosta not really going to fall for the bait of Derek Lewis in hindsight. I wish it would happen, but no. I mean, I'm glad I picked Waldo Cortez Acosta by knockout, but I did think for a minute there's a chance Derek Lewis, you know, just pulls I'm injured, bonk, you know, one of those ones. But it did not materialise. Derek Lewis falls over onto his arse, onto his buttocks, and then gets bonked everywhere by Waldo Cortez Acosta, finishing the fight. Not too bad at all. Waldo getting a little bit of hate online, a little bit funny. Everyone's putting a hit out on him. Don't know why. Does people dislike him that much? I'm an Aspinall fan, so like, you know, the whole, you know, the eye poke thing and stuff. It's kind of, I like it. I'm an Aspinall fan, and I still like it. I like Waldo Cortez Acosta too. I don't know. He beat Delija. He beat Ante Delija with one eye. You know, he has a point. I know Aspinall's eye injury is more serious than Waldo Cortez Acosta's, but you know, he did get poked in the eye and he did just continue. And it did look like a bad one. Maybe not as bad, but still a bad one. On to the next one. Unsure why Waldo Cortez Acosta's getting hate. On to the next one. Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. Decision for Sean O'Malley. Like I said, look, Sean O'Malley was going to play this whole fight nice and safe. Nice and safe. He didn't need to take any chances against Song Yadong. It was Song Yadong had to press the action if he had any chance of winning this fight. O'Malley plays into that so well, though. I feel like throughout his career, all the fights where he's dominated, and even the fights where he's managed to get a finish, he's hit the guy and he's managed to get a finish, he just spends the whole time having his opponent chase him down and just exploiting that, and just kind of circling out and exposing and exploiting the weaknesses of his opponents. And it was another one of those masterclasses for Sean O'Malley. Really good to see him win as well. Really good for his mental to get a win back now. Because I think it was a 3-fight. Was it a 3-fight skid or was it a 2-fight skid where he was on a 2-fight skid after becoming champion as well? You know, it's a rough one. That's a rough one to go through. But yeah, you know, good to see for Sean O'Malley getting it done. Pardon me, getting it done against a decent opponent in Song Yadong. Yeah, I mean, do we give Sean O'Malley a title shot? I wouldn't. I personally wouldn't. I feel like I know. It was a boring fight, but I feel like Umar could probably. I don't know. Who do I want to see fight Yan? Really, innit? I could see Marab fight Yan again. I wouldn't hate that either. But yeah, I feel like O'Malley probably gets a title shot off the back of this. Probably undeserved, but you know, Sean O'Malley's like one of those nepo babies, one of those people that the UFC pushes. So, you know, one of those protected guys, one of them industry plants, if you will. So yeah, so good to see. I'm actually a fan of Sean O'Malley. I do quite enjoy him. He's quite amusing, and his style isn't terrible. I like how he finds the counters. He's quite a sniper. But yeah, didn't manage to get the finish over Song Yadong. Decent fight nonetheless. Not the most entertaining, but I think it was very important for Sean O'Malley to get this win and get it decisively as well. Get a unanimous decision, if not a finish, to win this fight from start to finish was very good for O'Malley's mental going forward. I think give him some confidence and a bit more momentum going into his next fight, whatever that may be. Maybe not a title shot. Maybe they put him against Umar to see who gets the title shot. Who could say? Oh, and finally, the main event, the big one. Well, I correct my posture on this chair and sit on my earphone. Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. What a fight. What a back and forth. Round 1 and 2, Paddy got absolutely bonked everywhere by Gaethje. Just getting absolutely wailed on. At like 3 uppercuts and ended up getting sat down. Just got beaten up badly. Just wasn't ready for the power of Gaethje. And then when Paddy started finally finding shots and landing shots back, Gaethje was just eating them, man. What a chin on Gaethje. What a chin on both of them, to be fair. Paddy eating overhand rights like they were Mackey's burgers. I don't know what he eats. Like it was a takeout lad. Like it was a Chinese lad just eating overhands right like they were fucking salt and pepper shumai lad. Over and over again. Just hands down here, chin up here, just eating them. Madness. Really good back and forth fight. Justin Gaethje, now interim champion, was considering retirement if he'd lost this fight. Now he's the interim champ. Probably gets a shot against Ilya. Be interesting to see. It would be interesting to see. You know, maybe it's like a styles make fights. I know Ilya beat Max and Max beat Justin, but you know what? Justin's got a chin. He's got a chin still. So it could be good to see. It could be interesting to see. But yeah, what a fight! What a fight! Paddy took a bad beating in those first 2 rounds. Managed to kind of start getting things back together for round 3. Gets beaten up again in round 4. Maybe wins round 5 as well. Tough one. I don't know. Paddy getting a lot of flack leading up to this fight as well. People not liking his attitude. going about it. Gaethje has to be mentioned as well. Gaethje, a little bit dirty there with the eye pokes and the groin shots, but you know, it's a fight. Shit happens. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. When Paddy got poked in the eye, and there was a little moment of, oh, are they going to stop the fight? I just had this sudden moment of, wasn't he in like a video not that long ago, like literally in the past week, where I think maybe he was on Aspinall's channel. Wasn't he there with Aspinall being like, lad, if you poke me in the eye, lad, I'd be like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? I don't know. It's just funny. It's like he predicted it. But yeah, just how it goes, innit? Gaethje getting the win, man, getting the unanimous decision over Paddy the Baddy. I honestly thought Gaethje would gas in round 4 and 5, because he gassed against Chandler in 4 and 5, and this was a similar paced fight as well. But I think Gaethje was in control of this one. There was less snatching control back and forth. There was less of that, like there was in the Chandler fight. The Chandler fight was a lot more back and forth. But yeah, it just looked like It just looked like Paddy didn't really know what he was in for there and got absolutely walloped. So yeah, bit of an awkward one for Paddy there. But fight of the night, very entertaining fight. How both of them managed to eat the shots they ate, especially Paddy. Paddy getting battered like that. Obviously, I'm biased. I am a Scouser, but the whole Scousers don't get knocked out thing. Could you imagine if Paddy had been knocked out cold, like just face down on the fucking canvas, just out cold, and then it's just the highlights of that, the TikTok the next day is just Scousers don't get knocked out, and then it's like fucking cuts to the fucking montage of Gaethje just chinning him, and then Gaethje just chinning everyone. But yeah, I mean, Scousers definitely can be knocked down then, because oh my lord. But yeah, how Paddy took that beating is beyond me. His face is a mess. What a win for Gaethje, man. What an emphatic win for Gaethje. Snatching up the interim title. Gets a shot against Ilya to unify in his next fight. I mean, damn. I was giving him some grief for sitting out for as long as he did as well. How could this ever play out in your favour for sitting out, and then he took the fight against Fiziev and he didn't look all that good? How good's Fiziev? How good's Paddy versus Fiziev next? But yeah, actually a decent night of fights. Really good start to the card. Obviously 4 finishes back to back. Good start to the card. 4 finishes back to back. Sorry for repeating myself. Lost my train of thought. Then a bit of an upset. Not an upset, but not how we expected it to go, with Atiba going to a decision. A boring fight with Umar. A decent back and forth scrap, and a battle of the Tism. A battle of the autists, between a battle of the geniuses, the battle of the logicos. Battle of the Tism. It was a battle of the Tism between Gene Silva and Arnold Allen. Was actually really good. Then another absolutely boring fight in Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas. A kind of tactful, at least we got a finish, kind of fight from Waldo Costa and Derek Lewis. Another decision from O'Malley. Not as most entertaining of fights, not the hardest fight of his career, but an important fight for him and his mental and his career going forward. And then an absolute scrap between Justin Gaethje and Paddy the Baddy Pimblett for their for the main event, for the interim belts as well. So actually a banging night of fights, actually really good. Only 1 or 2 hiccups. We'll say 2 hiccups on the whole card. But we must discuss, is there a paramount case, okay? Is there a paramount case? 4 fights being cancelled on the first card. Bruce Buffer announces the wrong fighters, announces the fighters in the wrong order. So we're looking at Adam Fuji and he's being announced as Ty Miller. We're looking at Ty Miller and he's being announced as Adam Fuji. Bit of a strange one to start off the Paramount era. Kayla Harrison gets a neck injury or a leg injury and has to go for surgery. Fight gets cancelled. Alexa Grasso drops out against Rose Namajunas. Fight gets switched around. Michael Johnson and Alexander Hernandez have some weird betting scandal or weird betting irregularities in the betting line the day before. Fight gets cancelled. Fight gets pulled. Ricky Torsius versus Cameron Smotherman. Cameron Smotherman collapsed at the weigh-ins live in front of the internet, live for everyone to see, to start off the Paramount era. What a rocky start. We're not done yet. We're not done yet. Okay. There was something else I was going to say about the Paramount era, and I've forgotten. There was more production nonsense. Ads, man, ads. Okay, here's one for you. Dana White, Hunter Campbell. I said this on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen it. If this video, if you're a friend, if you play in Vegas, and if you're a friend of Dana White and Hunter Campbell, you gamble and get in Vegas, send them this video. Just clip this bit and send them it. Here's a $1 million idea for you, Dana White and Hunter Campbell and Paramount at larger. Okay, when the women are fighting, so when we've got Natalia Silva versus Rose Namajunas, what we can do is we can just kind of like take 15 minutes of ads that we were going to put between the other fights, and we can just play them during the women's fight. So we can just have like a little window pop up that basically obscures everything that's not happening because it's boring. And then we just watch an ad for a second. And then when the fight's over, we don't have to we can just go right on to the next one. And don't have to watch any ads in between. So we'd have to sit through a boring fight and then through some boring ads and then to watch a good fight. You know, we could just watch the boring fight and the ads as one together. And maybe that'll make it somehow redeemable. Like, what if the ads sync up with the fight and like it's kind of comical? Well, there's opportunities to be made here, is what I'm trying to say. Okay? There's a chance to make a lot of money on these sponsorships, Dana. I just feel like we're not using it efficiently. I feel like we can have a better viewing experience for the fans like me. So we don't have to watch as many ads, you know? And then we can also avoid watching like an entire woman's fight. You know, we can just put ads in between it. Like while they're standing there just doing this. Baiting at range. Like we could just, boom, fucking Manscaped, I don't know. You know, Bet365. You know? Just throw it, yeah. Modelo, I don't know. Prime, whatever you're sponsored by now, you know? Prime's fell off, so not that, but yeah. But yeah, that does conclude this episode of Best Bits. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, keep your chin down and keep swinging. Peace and love. I'll see you around.